I feel like I've read this before. It's not a book that I'm gonna say I enjoyed. I think I like My Boys a little meaner. Hello, book besties. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Delaney if you are new here, and we are back with another casual reading vlog. You're gonna come through 1 week with me, and we're just gonna talk about what I realistically read in a week as a book content creator. Since books are a big part of my job, I do have the privilege of having a little bit more wiggle room in order to read more throughout the week than if I were working a standard 9 to 5 or had kids at home or whatever it is. So I do end up reading quite a bit on my normal weeks where my schedule is kind of normal, and I thought it'd be fun to just kind of take you along with me so we can talk about everything that I read this week. So jumping right in, it is currently Monday and I started a brand new book last night. I just finished The Women last night, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I need something light in between because I'm still processing that book. It's phenomenal. If you haven't read The Women by Kristen Hanna, you should read that. But I picked up Just Some Stupid Love Story because I just wanted something fluffier and just kind of a fun rom-com. This was actually motivated because I got to see and meet Caitlin Doyle, the author of this book, in Portland at the Portland Book Festival that I attended, and she was hilarious. Hearing her talk, she was so funny, and she read a snippet of this book and her female main character was so funny, and I was like, I have to read this. I absolutely have to. So I have the book here. It's even signed by Caitlin, which is super duper cool. She is just, I think, the world of her. I had never really engaged with her as an author before, but seeing her talk, I'm obsessed. I loved her. But the book itself, I'm just now getting into. I'm on page 78. I'm just now starting part 3. And essentially this is a reverse Grumpy Sunshine. So the female main character is more grumpy and the boy is just a ray of sunshine, full golden retriever boy, Mr. Positivity. He's just sunshiny, and she is very much the grump here, which is unique because I feel like when I read Grumpy Sunshine, it's usually reverse, where the man is the grumpy one. This is also a second chance romance, so we have two high school lovers that reunite at a high school reunion, and our female main character, being the grump that she is not having it. She is not thrilled about this reunion, and our male main character is this is awesome. I live for stuff like this. This is so much fun. I'm talking to everybody. It's cheesy. It's funny. He's just there for it, the high school reunion. And it's very clear that there is tension between them, and they have a long-standing history. But being brought back together, there is definitely still chemistry there. So him being Mr. Positive is fully believing in soulmates. Her being more pessimistic, does not believe in soulmates. They end up making a bet on who from their high school class is going to be together in 5 years. This book, I think the entirety of this book spans over a few years. I think it starts in 2019, 18, and I think it ends in 2021 or something. So it spans, what is that, 3 years? I'm a reader, not a mathematician. So it does spread out, and there's kind of some tension and will they, won't they type energy. As of now, it's reminding me a lot of Christina Lauren rom-coms, where they're funny, they're kind of ridiculous at times. Some of the things that are happening, you're oh my gosh, there's no way. But they're just entertaining. It's really, really easy to read. The banter is there. There's chemistry, there's romance. It's enjoyable so far. Again, I just kind of wanted something fluffy, so I'm not expecting the most emotional romance that I've ever read in my entire life. But as of now, it's doing what I intended for it to do, and it's just an easy read, and I'm having a good time. I also just checked out the audiobook of this from the library this morning. It was available, so I ended up getting my hands on that, and I might do some audio, some physical reading. We'll kind of see how I balance it out, but I have a feeling I'm going to finish this very quickly if I continue at the rate that I'm going. I only read for half an hour, 45 minutes last night, and I was just flying through it. So super duper quick and easy read, and so far so good. I'm enjoying it, but I will update you when I know a little bit more about my thoughts, my feelings, and the plot and our characters. Hello, it is the next day. It is Tuesday, and as predicted, I flew through this book. I finished it earlier today on my walk. I listened to the end of the audiobook and completed Just Some Stupid Love Story, and I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. I thought that it was exactly what I wanted. Do you know what I mean? It delivered the exact vibes that I was hoping for. And that is fluffy, rom-com, funny, lighthearted, sweet, a little bit of spice, and ultimately fairly forgettable, but super quick and enjoyable in the moment. Do you know what I mean? Not every book needs to be the 5-star emotional feeling, and I think that's actually not what I wanted coming off of The Women. I wanted something just light and quick and fluffy, and this delivered. It was the perfect book selection for the mood that I was in. I had a couple, I don't even know if I want to call them complaints, a couple things in this book that I was like, really? Like, aside from it just being like fluffy rom-com, a little bit ridiculous at times, like falling into a hot tub, or like things that are just so chaotic and crazy that it's like, that just doesn't feel realistic. Like those, it was fine. It was fun enough. Like those things are fine. There's a couple actual plot points in this book and like character flaws that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. The biggest thing that I struggled to comprehend in this book is like, one of our main conflicts is that the female main character, okay, I do this every time I talk about a book. I refer to them as the female main character and the male main character instead of their names. This follows Molly and Seth. So Molly is the female, Seth is the male main character. Molly is angry at Seth for becoming a divorce attorney because her parents got divorced and he knew how much that impacted her. Like, I get it to some extent, like your feelings are valid, girlfriend, but also I don't know how that necessarily correlates to like how you can be resentful of him because he chose to be a divorce attorney. I don't know. I just feel like being mad at all divorce attorneys because your parents got divorced is a little bit of a reach. And to have that as like the main plot point conflict, one of the main conflicts, it just, I don't know. I didn't feel it because it was just like, really? Like that is workaroundable in my opinion. So that, and then also Seth is like, I think I mentioned it yesterday when I talked about this book, like over the top joyful, like full golden retriever man. He is just pure sunshine. And to me, I think I like my boys a little meaner. Like I think if you're not like slightly argumentative, like if you don't push back on me, I would get bored. I don't know. I'm not a huge like golden retriever boy in books type of girl. I love when they're nice. I love when they're romantic. Don't get me wrong, in books and in real life, like all of that is so valuable and so important, but that is like different in my eyes than being the golden retriever boyfriend. I don't know, maybe it's a me problem that I should dig into, but I like when there's a little bit more conflict and a little bit more tension that comes from the man in a book. I don't know. I probably shouldn't even be admitting this on the internet, but those are my thoughts. So like I said, I ended up giving this a 3.5 stars. It was fluffy and quick and really cute. I read it in what, like a day and a half total? Super cute. I think that if you're looking for something fluffy and quick and not super meaningful, like not a life-changing book, this is a great option. Like I said, sometimes we just need something a little bit lighter. Now, shifting gears a little bit, I've decided the next book I'm picking up is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I have only read one Riley Sager book in my entire life, and it was The House Across the Lake. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. And I wasn't impressed. And so I was like, maybe Riley Sager books just aren't for me. Wasn't a totally fair assessment to read one book and then write him off as a whole, but I've heard from a lot of people that The House Across the Lake is most definitely not his best book. So I wanted to give this another shot. Kayla, one of my good friends from the Patreon book club, we've become really close. She loves this book and she is like the thriller queen. And so Lauren, another one of my close friends from the Patreon book club, wanted to read it with me. So Lauren and I are kind of like buddy reading this together per Kayla's recommendation, and I'm excited. So far, I don't know anything about it. I haven't even read the blurb. I have only listened to like the, not even like a prequel, it's just like a random clip that like opens the book. Anyways, that is where we're at. I don't have any updates for this yet because like I said, haven't really started it, haven't got into it at all, but that's where we're going next, shifting from rom-com to thriller. A good, much needed genre change, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. I will update you when I have more updates for you. Bye. Hello, my loves. I am back. I think it's been 2 days since I filmed. It is now Thursday, and I think the last time I talked, it was Tuesday. Yesterday, I woke up just like not feeling very good. My throat kind of hurt. I was just exhausted. My head hurt. I was like, I think I'm coming down with something. So I just did a bunch of like boring computer work and I didn't pick up my camera once, and it was kind of a nice break. But I'm excited to be back, and I need to update you because I have 2 major book updates that happened yesterday. I'm also having a day where like my face isn't facing. Like, do you ever look at yourself and you're like, that's not me? Having one of those days, like I just look off. I don't know what's happening. Probably in my luteal phase. If you know, you know, but whatever. So update on The Only One Left. This is the book that I was starting on Tuesday. The last time I talked to you guys, I had just decided I was starting this. I didn't know anything about it except that it had been highly recommended to me. So essentially, this kind of feels like a Lizzie Borden retelling. So we have our main character, Kit, and she's a caretaker, and she is assigned to this new woman to care for, and her name is Lenora Hope. And she essentially is like Lizzie Borden. There's like a school rhyme about her. It is believed that she killed her entire family, her parents and her sister. So Kit is assigned to this role. Kit also has her own accusations that she has been accused of being the cause of her mother's death just because of negligence and leaving medication out when she shouldn't have, as being her mom's caretaker, if that makes sense. So she kind of feels like this kindred spirit connection to Lenora because they both have been accused of killing their family members. I don't know. It sounds really dark. It sounds really, really dark. So the entire first like half of this book, I was like, what does this remind me of? Like, I feel like I've read this before. And I think I've determined it reminds me of Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney in terms of the setting, because this takes place at, it's called Hope's End, which is kind of a daunting name for a place, but it's basically like this mansion that's called Hope's End, and it takes place on like a cliffside, and the cliff is quite literally disintegrating, like it is falling apart. And that was like ringing bells because of Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. I believe they're like in a mansion that is like on an island where there's a storm or something and they can't get back to like civilization. So I think like the isolation in this creepy massive home was really relating to Daisy Darker in my brain. And then the other book it reminds me of is The Wife Upstairs by Frida McFadden. I know there's like a million thrillers named The Wife Upstairs, but specifically the one by Frida McFadden because the wife in that book is like in need of a caretaker, and it's kind of like the caretaker thriller elements, similar to Verity as well. Yeah, kind of reminded me of that a little bit. So once I was able to like scratch that itch in my brain, you know when something reminds you of something else and you cannot focus until you figure out what it is? That's what I was dealing with. But now that I think I figured out what this reminds me of, I'm invested. I'm really enjoying it. I feel like it's not necessarily like I guess it is a thriller. It feels almost like true crime in a way. Like it feels kind of like I'm reading a true crime story, and it is chilling and creepy and you trust nobody. So this mansion, like I said, is like secluded on this cliffside, and it's literally just Kit, who is now there as Lenora's caretaker, Lenora obviously, and then like a very small staff that takes place of Hope's End and takes place of Lenora, or takes care of Hope's End and takes care of Lenora. And the staff is all really weird too. So it's like you really trust nobody and you're in a secluded environment, and it's just kind of sketchy all around, honestly. So that's where we're at in this one as of now. I actually got the audiobook on my phone, so I think I'm going to be switching to audio for some of this and listening to this throughout the rest of my day. I'm hoping to put up my Christmas tree later, so I feel like I should be listening to Christmas music when I put my Christmas tree up, but why don't I listen to a dark, twisted, absolutely unhinged thriller instead? Like, I don't know. That's probably what I'll do, to be honest, but whatever. So that's the update on The Only One Left. I am really invested. I feel like it's a quick read. Like, you just don't want to put it down because you need to figure out what's going on. And then I also read a short story novella last night, and I think it was called Merriment and Mayhem. And I think that's what it's called. I'll put it on the screen here. It's on Kindle Unlimited. It's part of like a 5-book novella holiday series, and it was so cheesy. It was cute, but it was just so cheesy. It's exactly what you would expect. It's a firefighter romance and like holiday romance, and it was literally like 60 pages. I read it in about 40 minutes before I went to bed last night on my Kindle. I sat and I just read it cover to cover. I think it was like 4 chapters long. It was spicy, it was cheesy, it was just the holiday vibes. I ended up giving it a 2.75 star because it just was. It was cute, it was quick. If you want something just like a dash of festive holiday romance with a little bit of spice, read it. I think it would be cute. I also want to read Tessa Bailey's book. She has one in this interconnected series as well. And I want to read the Tessa Bailey one too. So we'll see if I end up getting to that. But those are the updates that I have as of now, I believe. I think that's everything I needed to update you on. I was gonna film, but the lighting is so dreary. It's just like so rainy outside and so gray. I was gonna film a holiday book rack video and then also a gift guide, but it's feeling like it's kind of icky. I don't know. We shall see where the day takes us, but those are the book updates as of now, and I will touch base with you hopefully if I finish this today. Hoping to finish this today, and then we can kind of crank in at least one more book before the end of this vlog, before the next week. Sounds good to me. All right, besties, I will talk to you shortly when I have an update for you, and yeah. I am back with a ton of bookish updates. I feel like last night was just like bam, 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 just like flying through the books. I think I only finished 2, but it felt like a lot in the moment. So first and foremost, I finished The Only One Left by Riley Sager, and the ending of this book felt like whiplash. It was like plot twist after plot twist after plot twist, and it was like, whoa, like there's a lot going on. And I don't know, I feel like I thought that I was going to be able to predict the ending of this, because I feel like my go-to strategy now in thrillers, specifically after reading like a lot of Frida McFadden, is like always suspect the person that seems the most unsuspecting. So like the most innocent person, the most pure, the most detached, whatever it is, always like have them as your number 1 prime suspect. And that was my thought with this too. And then not at all. Like the ending of this book wasn't even like you were just guessing the person. There was so many plot twists that it's like everything that you believed, I'm trying to not spoil anything. Everything that you believed just like wasn't a thing. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I can't really say a ton because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but this was really enjoyable. I was invested. I would say like there were some slower moments, but as a whole, I was super duper invested nearly the entire way through, up through the end, and I was definitely shocked by the ending. So it did what it was intended to do. It thrilled me. It kept me entertained. It was shocking. It was plot twisty. I ended up giving this a 3.75 star, which is pretty great for a thriller in my opinion. I feel like thrillers are normally in like the 3 to 4 star range. This was one of my most enjoyable thrillers that I've read in a long time. I enjoyed it a lot. So 3.75 stars for this one. And then after that, I was just gonna watch like a Christmas movie by my Christmas tree, but I am the worst at like sitting and watching things. So I was like, I'm gonna read a book instead, but I wanted that Christmas vibe. So I ended up picking another book in that like short story series I was talking about earlier that I read a book from, and it was called A Cruel Winter with You, something like that. Hold on. I think it was by Allie Hazelwood. Yeah, Cruel Winter with You. So this is the first book technically in that like interconnected, they're not even interconnected. I think it's just like a group of short stories. So this is the first one. It's actually the only Allie Hazelwood book that I've ever read. And it's like a fluffy Christmas short story. But it was really enjoyable. I like this one a lot more than the other one that I read by, I don't even know who that one was by. I wasn't familiar with that author. but I like this one a lot more. I give this like a solid 3 stars. It was super short, super quick, super sweet. I think it was like 75-ish pages, but did exactly what I wanted. I just wanted like festive, fun holiday vibes, and it was easy to fly through. I read it again, cover to cover, just sitting by my Christmas tree. It was like the coziest thing ever. This is a second chance romance and also forced proximity. They're like snowed in together, and a lot of the book takes place in the past. So it's like their history and kind of walking through their past together, and then also in the present day as they're snowed in together over the holidays. That was really sweet. And now, potentially the final book in this video, we'll see how long it takes me to read it. I picked Saving Noah by Lucinda Berry, and I have this on my Kindle. I don't have the physical copy, but I have followed Lucinda Berry. We've been like friendly, like mutuals on TikTok for so long, and I've always wanted to read her, what is it with the pink cover? The Perfect Child or something like that. I've always wanted to read a book by her, and somehow I haven't read any Lucinda Berry. She's one of the most recommended authors I think that I get told to read, and somehow I just like haven't picked up a book of hers. I don't own any, so I think that's partially why it's just kind of like not been on my radar. But I ended up picking up Saving Noah last night as well, and I flew through probably the first 30-ish% of this book. I think I'm at like the 30% mark right now. And this is dark. This is definitely trigger warnings, like sensitive topics I'm going to talk about here. But this is about a 16-year-old boy who basically confessed and committed to sexually abusing little girls. Like I think they were 6. And it's like pedophilia. Like he's just really attracted to little girls, and he abused them as he was, I think, coaching them for swim. And so also in their family, he has a mom and a dad and a younger sister. And so the dad is clearly like, no way are you around your little sister right now. Like, I do not trust you to be around your little sister. So the dad is like, he's not coming home. Like, he can't stay with us. And the mom is like, I still love my son. Like, I still see my son in this man, even though he just did the most unthinkable, disgusting things. And so the mom ends up moving out to live with Noah and kind of care for Noah, and the dad ends up caring for the daughter, and like they're really butting heads because the mom is like, we need to give him a second chance. Like the mom is very much I would say she's aware of the severity of what he did, but also she's more like of the viewpoint of like rehabilitation and like trying to get him to like recover. But the dad is like, heck no, like I'm just gonna protect my daughter. This is complex. It's very interesting. This was labeled as a thriller, but it's more like dark and psychological a little bit. It's not really feeling thrilling. It's just dark and icky, and like, ooh, I have very strong feelings. Anything with children, I get like full of rage. Lucinda Berry is definitely evoking a lot of emotion with this one. It's also a very quick read. Like I'm flying through it. I think it's also like 270 pages or something. It's very short, very, very short. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're at as of now. I wouldn't say I'm enjoying it. Like, I feel like that's not a book that you're like, I'm really enjoying this book, but I'm invested, I'm entertained, and I'm interested. It's a book that I like didn't want to put down. It was like 11:30 last night, and I normally am asleep by like 9, and I just wanted to keep reading it. So I guess that is a positive thing, but it's also not like an enjoyable book. Like nothing about it is like feel good in any way, shape, or form. Also, I wouldn't consider it a thriller. Maybe that's going to change. Maybe it's going to catch me off guard, but it doesn't feel like thriller is the appropriate label. It's more like dark psychological fiction. Is that even a genre? Kind of like the My Dark Vanessa type vibe. But that's where we're at as of now. It's Friday and I have a very laid back work day. I was hoping to film a holiday gift guide for you guys. I don't know if I'll get to that today because I'm just not really feeling like a formal sit down video. Sometimes I just want to like yap to a vlog. I don't know. It's like a different expectation in my brain. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't feel like filming sit down videos. But I also really need to go to Target. I have returns and I need to get a new Christmas doormat. So priorities, that might be my top priority, to be honest. All right, I feel like I just like rambled super quickly a bunch of random different things from a million different topics, but that's where we're at. Those are the bookish updates. Finished the only one left. It was a 3.75. Read another Christmas short story, Cruel Winter with You. I gave that 3 stars. It was really, really cute. My first Allie Hazelwood, and now I kind of want to read her writing because her writing was really fun. I liked her writing style. And I'm currently in the middle of Saving Noah, my first Lucinda Berry book, which I'm excited about. She seems like such a cool person. Highly recommend following her on TikTok if you don't follow her. I love her TikToks. She seems like such a vibe. I just want to hang out with her. All right, that is where we're at. I will update you when I have an update. I might finish Saving Noah today. Honestly, like I said, I have a really chill work day. And if I decide to not film and do the responsibilities that I should do, then I'll be reading instead probably. So could really fly through that, and maybe we can squeeze in another book before the end of this week. I'm not making any promises, but that's where we're at as of now. I'm gonna go eat some lunch, decide what I'm doing with my day, if I'm gonna be productive or if I'm gonna go to Target, but we shall see. I'll update you soon. Hello, happy Saturday. It is Saturday now, and I feel like the lighting's a little weird because there's a light in front of me, but I'm also kind of backlit by the Christmas tree that I set up the other day. But I have a lot of bookish updates. Last time we talked, I think I was in the middle of Saving Noah, and I ended up finishing that, and I stand firm. There was a little bit of like a plot twisty element at the end, but I stand firm that it didn't feel like a thriller to me. It felt like a dark psychological fiction novel. Definitely very heavy. Check trigger warnings for sure. And don't go into it if you're not in the place to read a dark, heavy book. I think I said it last time too, it's not a book that I'm gonna say I enjoyed, but it was also a really easy read. Like I was invested enough that I was able to read it really, really quickly, and I flew through it. I think it was probably within just over a 24-hour span. I read the entire thing, and really easy to get into, easy writing style. And I definitely want to continue reading Lucinda Berry books. I think I want to read more that have a plot, more of like a thriller that I'm used to. So definitely was not a turnoff at all for Lucinda Berry books. It was a good intro, I would say, to her, and I think it's one of her shorter books too. So flew by really quickly. I ended up giving it a 3-star rating, and I would recommend it if you're looking for kind of exactly what I'm describing, like a quick read. But I feel like quick reads are most often like quick romances or those types of things. But if you want a quick read that is also very heavy, I think this would be a good option for you. While I'm mentioning romance though, I had to come back to my home genre, my favorite genre. We're finishing the week with Come Break My Heart again. This has been on my TBR for months now, and like I've been every single month, I'm like, I'm going to read it this month, and it doesn't happen. I'm like, I'm gonna read it this month, and it doesn't happen. We're finally doing it. So this is a second chance romance. They were together at age 15, 18, and then they're brought back together, I think like 7 years later. So they'd be like, what, 25? Definitely a very emotional read. I think we haven't gotten to the point in the book yet where I'm at now. I'm only like 40-ish% of the way through. We haven't gotten to the point where I know what the conflict is that like broke them up in the past, but there's definitely a lot of tension, definitely like a big looming conflict from both age 15 and 18, and then now there's like just so much built up tension. This also has past and present timeline and dual POV. So we get both female main character and the male main character's point of view, and then we also get flashbacks to when they were together at age 18 and also current day, which you guys know, if you followed me for any amount of time, you know that I love second chance romance, and specifically with past and present timeline and dual POV. It's just something about it. I just really, really enjoy it. And so I'm flying through this. I started it yesterday, and like I said, I'm already like 40% of the way through. So hoping to finish this weekend. I have a very relaxed weekend. It's already Saturday night, but I feel like my Sunday can pretty much be dedicated to reading and like a couple house chores, but mainly just reading and relaxing before the week starts. So I'm hoping we can close out the vlog in a full, just like complete week, Monday to Monday, and close out the vlog, including one more book. So I'm gonna do my best to finish this, but that's where we're at as of now. I'm enjoying it as of now, and I'm excited to keep you updated as I continue to read. All right, I'm off to hang out with some friends, so I gotta go. I'm gonna be late, but as per usual, I feel like I'm always just kind of running around crazy trying to get there on time. But yeah, that's the update as of now. I'm gonna hit the road and I will update you when I have an update for you, probably tomorrow. I'll talk to you so soon. All right, we are back with the final update of the reading vlog. I was able to finish this on Sunday. It is now Monday, but I was able to finish this last night in like the span of the week. We made it through, we finished this book, and it was really, really good. I really enjoyed this. I think this is an independent author, so I think this is like independently published. And I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure. Because of that, I feel like I wasn't sure entirely what to expect, solely because there's like a lack of discourse around it. There's a lack of reviews on Goodreads. Like I just wasn't sure what to expect because I haven't seen anyone else talking about this book. Do you know what I mean? And that's not always like a fair assessment. Goodreads reviews, any review in general is not a fair assessment of if I'm going to like a book, but sometimes going into a book blind, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel because I have nothing to base anything off of, which is kind of nice in some ways. I will say this book pleasantly surprised me. It like exceeded my expectations and it was really, really good. I ended up giving it a 4-star rating, and I think this is perfect for anyone that wants an emotional romance as a standalone. I feel like sometimes it's hard to achieve the full like emotional impact of like a really deep emotional, how many times can I say emotional in this one clip? Sometimes I feel like it's hard to achieve the intended impact in a standalone book. I think like romance series can be super deep and emotional, but in a standalone form, I think sometimes it's a little bit harder to accomplish that just because you have less time to like connect with the characters. This, I think, was done beautifully. I connected deeply with the characters. There were multiple different emotional elements. I think the past and present timeline and also the alternating points of view really helped to, like, made me feel even more connected to the characters in their story. And I really just felt like I was in it. You know what I mean? I think the writing style did a really great job of making you feel like you were in it with the characters. So, like I said, I would highly recommend this book. It met my expectations and then some. Like, it was really, really good, and I will definitely be continuing to recommend this book. I'm sure you will see it in upcoming recommendation videos and everything. It's definitely a book that'll be on my mind to share with people and be like, yo, put this on your radar because it is not talked about enough. It is really, really good. Aside from that, I don't really have a whole lot to say because I can't really talk about the ending because I don't want to spoil the ending. But if you're looking for something emotional, meaningful, and heartbreaking and also feel good at the same time, a great pick for you. This angle is kind of funky. It's not any better. But I think that's actually all I have to say. I feel like I've talked to you a lot this week, so thanks for bearing with me and all my rambles and my chats. I love vlogging. I love hanging out with you guys, and hopefully you found some new books from this video, you found some new recommendations to pick up, or you just had a good time hanging out with me too. It was a really good week of reading. I feel like I read a lot this week, which isn't always normal for me. There are some weeks that I read one book or even not even a full book, and then there are some weeks like this week where I read a ton. And I want you to know, like, definitely in a very unique and privileged circumstance to have reading as part of my job, please never, ever, ever, ever compare what you read to what I am reading or what anyone else that you see is reading. It's just not the point. It's not the point at all. And I say that because I get so many comments specifically on like my monthly wrap-ups, and people are like, oh, I only read like 2 books this week or this month, or like 4 books this month. And I'm like, it's not what matters. You know what I mean? So just don't compare. Reading is not a race. It's not a competition. It's just fun to chat about books that we love with each other. And so hopefully that's exactly what this video was. It's just giving you some new book ideas, putting new books on your radar, and having some fun hanging out with me. But that is all for today's video. Make sure you are following me on all the things and subscribed here so you don't miss any future videos, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, book besties.